tacks on that one more here, and it makes it very, very difficult for Barton with only 45 seconds left.
And he nails it. Atkinson, spin move, Henderson, let him go by. Pull up, pop, book it. 23 for Atkinson.
Oh, he
and he
steals
steals
the ball!
Oh my! Unbelievable! 10 seconds left, down by 2. The drive, reverse. Oh, what a play! 4 seconds left. Melvick stolen away. He's got time. Atkinson layup. Good. Barton is your national champion. You could not have written a script that would match the drama here.
And welcome to the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts for the NCAA Division II men's basketball semifinals. And in game 1, it's Augusta State versus Alaska-Anchorage. And a look to see how these two teams got the Final Four and the quarterfinals. Augusta State took out Central Oklahoma in double overtime, and Alaska-Anchorage hung on to beat California of Pennsylvania. And hello there, everybody. Alongside Dan Bonner, I'm Justin Kutcher. And Dan, we saw what Anthony Atkinson did last year in the finals. Truly amazing. But yesterday, the madness continued here in the quarterfinals. There's something in the air here in Springfield.
Justin, there is, and it's because there are players on the court, and we're going to see some really good ones tonight. 2 in particular to keep your eye on in this first game. A.J. Bowman for Augusta State. You can see they're a 2-time All-American, the leading scorer for Augusta State. He didn't have his A game yesterday, but he was still pretty good. He can drive it to the basket. He can shoot from outside. He's an excellent defender. He's the guy they go to when they're in trouble. And on the other side, for the Seahawks of Alaska-Anchorage, Luke Cooper, 6-foot-tall senior point guard, another All-American. They want the ball in his hands to create for the other players, particularly when the shot clock's running down. They like to give it to him so he can take it to the basket or create opportunities for other people. Lots of good ones. Those are just 2 of them.
It is the first time Augusta State has been this far. The first time since 1988 for Alaska-Anchorage. Dance the music. It should be fun. Augusta State, Alaska-Anchorage coming up next.
The Division II student-athlete experience emphasizes academic and athletic excellence. From Olympic-style sports festival championships to community-focused partnerships, Division II schools are moving forward with a new attitude. Learning, service, passion, sportsmanship, resourcefulness, and balance. These are the attributes of student-athletes, coaches, administrators, and alumni and fans who say with pride, I chose Division II.
The NCAA Division II student-athlete experience goes beyond the classrooms and playing fields. It means a commitment to service and community, helping organizations like the Make-A-Wish Foundation by raising money to help grant the wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions, kids like Jacob.
Some student-athletes gave of their time and their energy to raise the money.
It was fun to meet Jeff Gordon.
NCAA Division II, training student-athletes for lifelong achievement.
And welcome back. The fans are ready here for semifinal game number 1 between Augusta State and Alaska-Anchorage. The head coach for Augusta State is Dick Mitras in his 4th year. He was the Peach Belt Conference Coach of the Year this year in his starting lineup.
It's Neely.
Steve Smith, junior guard, Alexandria, Virginia, criminal justice major.
G'day, Ben Madgen, sophomore guard from Williamstown, Australia, business management major.
Demetrius Howard, senior guard from Woodbridge, Virginia, major health and kinesiology.
Hi, I'm AJ Bowman. I'm a senior. I play power forward. I'm from Tickman, Georgia, and I'm a marketing major.
My name is Garret Siler, junior center from Augusta, Georgia. My major is education.
And for Alaska-Anchorage, the head coach is Rusty Osborne, also in his 4th year, also named the coach of the year in his conference, and now his starting line.
Hi, my name is Luke Cooper. I'm a senior point guard from the University of Alaska-Anchorage, and I'm studying physical education.
Hi, my name is Chris Bryan, senior guard from Metlakatla, Alaska, studying physical education.
Hi, my name is Cameron Burney. I'm a junior guard from Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and I'm studying business finance.
Kate Olson, senior forward from Riverton, Utah, and my major is criminal justice.
I'm Carl Arts, senior forward from Valdez, Alaska, in the physical education major.
And the officials for today's game: Tim Comer, Quentin Murphy, and Jim Bruno. We are set to tip. And the tip is controlled by Augusta State. It's ironic you have A.J. Bowman, who's 6'5" jumping center, and you got a guy who's 6'11" on the floor, and Garret Siler. There is Garret Siler on the low block. Right to the hoop, and he puts his team on the board.
And that's really going to be an issue all night long for Alaska-Anchorage. Siler is 6'11". He weighs 300 pounds. The heaviest guy for Alaska-Anchorage weighs 215. So Siler's going to be able, is going to at least try to get position all night long.
McCade Olson up top to Chris Bryan. Jump stop, the kick out, now back up top, Cameron Bruni. Looking for the first team all-conference performer. Off the mark for Carl Arts, and the rebound is taken by Ben Magin. And an early foul called against Luke Cooper.
Well, what you've seen so far at the start of this game is what we're basically going to see all night long. Siler is going to be a big key. Augusta State with that 6'11" guy, they're going to try to go inside for the power play. And Alaska-Anchorage, they have to survive that inside, and they have to create some mismatches on the offensive end. Who is Siler going to guard?
A near turnover, the back inside, and there is Siler again. 4 points, 4 quick points for the big man.
And it looks very easy right at the moment.
Three-pointer on the mark for Cameron Bruni. Cameron Bruni from Steamboat Springs, Colorado. He's a guy who can shoot the three, but he actually doesn't like to take too many shots. More of a defensive rebound type guy. Kick out, Steve Smith drives baseline for the reverse. And a good start for Augusta State.
Boy, so far, Alaska-Anchorage hasn't stopped anything on the defensive end. They've got to get more pressure on the ball.
Burney again for three. This time a short weak side rebound. Pulled down by Demetrius Howard.
The last time Burney hit the three, and I think that's going to be very important, as Howard launches and nails a big three. But speaking of threes, if Siler is going to try to guard Burney, Burney has to create some action. He doesn't have to stand there and shoot the three. He can drive by him to the basket.
Howard picking up where he left off yesterday. 4 for 7 from three-point land in the quarterfinals against Central Oklahoma. Kick ball. (9-3). Augusta State on top of Alaska-Anchorage. The fans have come from both colleges. Augusta from Augusta, Georgia, and Alaska-Anchorage. Can you guess where they're from? Good start for Augusta State, 4 for 4. The kick out for Cooper. Into a double team. Good rebound by Olson. Loses it out of bounds. And it will go to Augusta State.
When Burney drives to the basket, his teammates have to get themselves in scoring position, because you could see the Augusta State defense collapse to try to help Siler. They will get some openings. That time they just sort of stood around. Man-to-man defense.
Magin to Howard. That pass was intended for Bowman, and it's going to be a foul against Garret Siler.
And those are the kind of fouls that the big guy just doesn't want to pick up. If he's going to get a foul trying to block a shot, or get a foul going to the basket. But this time he's just reaching for the ball and clotheslines Cooper.
And that's one thing that can really neutralize this game, is if he gets into foul trouble, what will they do?
Well, they've got other players, obviously, who can play, but nobody who has his skill level at that size.
Good ball movement by Anchorage into the corner. The three is no good. And the rebound again is pulled down by Siler. Haven't heard from A.J. Bowman yet. Only 5 points in the first half yesterday. His three is off the mark. And the loose ball goes to Olson. Here comes Alaska-Anchorage. The Seawolves trying to push it up. McCade Olson's top of the key three. Rattles in and out.
Boy, Alaska-Anchorage players around the offensive board. I know they're concerned that Augusta State can get up and down pretty well, but don't want to concede those rebounds that easily.
Ben Madgen trying to post up. Tough turnaround jumper. No good, and a rebound for Carl Arts. Arts leads his team in both scoring and rebounding. Chris Bryant loses it into the hands of Arts. His free throw jumper is good. 9-5, Augusta State on top.
Arts, the leading scorer for Alaska-Anchorage, a guy who has made some All-American teams. And particularly from that range, he's an excellent shooter.
Howard looking for A.J. Bowman. Fadeaway jumper blocked. Gets it back. Demetrius Howard's pass is out of bounds. Possession, Alaska-Anchorage. 9-5, Augusta State on top of Alaska-Anchorage here in the early going of semifinal number 1.
There'll come a day when you'll wonder. You'll think back to how you used to listen. Before you heard your music, your sports, your talk, all from the same place. And you'll wonder how you ever got along without it. Sirius. Everything else falls short. Over 130 channels, only one place to get it all. Sirius Satellite Radio.
Why are energy drinks bad? 12 spoons of sugar? That's bad. 200 calories? Bad. Guarana? Tisk, tisk. Good for a short jittery burst, then a debilitating crash. So don't drink energy drinks. Drink 5-Hour Energy. It's not a drink, more like a sip. But with that sip, you'll feel alert and focused for hours, without the crash or jitters. It has 0 sugar, only 4 calories, and no guarana. 5-Hour Energy. Hours of energy now, no crash later.
Need a change of scenery? Announcing Southwest Airlines' big sale. Right now you can fly Southwest Airlines from $49 to $99 to many of our destinations, like Baltimore, Chicago, Denver, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Dallas, San Diego, and more. Book now from $49 to $99 at southwest.com.
You are now free to move about the country.
Augusta State 9-5 over Alaska-Anchorage here in the first half, and you can follow all the action from this NCAA championship, including highlights and stats, at NCAA.com. NCAA.com is the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships.
And Justin, interestingly enough, we talked about Alaska-Anchorage having to survive inside, and McCade Olson, who you see right here, is going to be an important key to that. Olson, 6'8", 215 pounds, was the most outstanding player in the West Regional. Averages better than 15 points a game, but he's yet to get started. In Augusta State, they've scored 6 points really close to the basket. They're out rebounding Alaska-Anchorage 6-2. So the inside play thus far has gone the way of Augusta State. Now we've got a question about what the score is, whether it's 9-6 or 8-6.
On the scoreboard,
9-5 or 8-6. On the scoreboard it says 8-6, but it's 9-5.
Should be 9-5. They have it here in the arena at 8-6.
You know, Alaska-Anchorage has 4 field goals. Let's count this up now. No free throws. They have 4 field goals, 3 of them 2-point field goals, which makes 6. And 1 of them a 3-point field goal, which makes 9. And for Alaska-Anchorage, they have 2 field goals, 1 a 2-pointer and 1 a 3-pointer. And even at my level of learning, I can come up with that.
I will say this, Dan, I've been very impressed by your math the last couple of days.
Well, you say that because we have actually had this. This issue with what's the correct score about 3 or 4 times in the quarterfinals.
It's actually a new game show here in Springfield. While they're trying to figure out what's going on with the score, here's some Elite 8 quick facts. 3 of the 4 teams in this Final Four are #1 seeds. Alaska, Anchorage, and then Bentley and Winona State will meet later on tonight. And since 1957, 9 teams have entered undefeated
And what's amazing is that 4 of those 9 teams have been in the last 2 years, and Bentley has now done it twice.
Yeah, and the other interesting thing, as we're talking about facts, for the first time ever in the Elite Eight, you're going to see something in this second game that's never happened in the Elite Eight, and that is that Winona State is going to play an undefeated team for the second time in 2 games. They played against Grand Valley State last night and won that game, and now they're playing Bentley tonight. Bentley over the last 2 years is 66-1. Their only loss was to Winona last year in the Elite Eight quarterfinals. You look at Garret Siler. He's laughing about this. Now, Garret Siler, we talked about him before. He's 6'11". He weighs about 300 pounds. But Garret Siler is a young man who didn't play basketball until he was a senior in high school. He actually is from Augusta, Georgia, but he went to the magnet school down there, the Davidson School for the Fine Arts. He is a musician and a singer, actually plays the tuba. And it just so happened that the athletic director at Augusta State, Clint Bryan, his daughters went to that same school, and they said to their dad, there's this big kid there, and he saw him, and he said, son, why don't you play basketball? And then the next year, for his senior year, he transferred to a public school down there, played 1 year, didn't even start, and now Dick Mitras has him at Augusta State. They redshirted him his first year, and his development has been amazing. He's actually lost about 70 pounds and just continues to be an outstanding player.
And it's only fitting that he plays the tuba.
Well, and he is a very, very bright young man. The reason he went to that school was because it's a school for kids with special skills, and he's got them. And they're Alaska-Anchorage, they've come a ways.
You think? Look at this. 4,513 miles. That's the distance between here and Alaska-Anchorage. If driven in the car 77 hours, by air it took them between 14 and 15 hours. In this season, they've traveled over 35,000 miles. And guess what? We're ready to play. The scoreboard is correct. Augusta State 9, Alaska-Anchorage 5. Luke Cooper.
Does anybody remember what's going on?
No, actually, during that break, Kevin White checked in for Alaska-Anchorage. He's got the ball right now, and it's poked away by Demetrius Howard. The save into the hands of Carl Artz. Reset, 10 seconds on the shot clock, and this is where you'll see the team go to a zone.
Yeah, they're very worried about Cooper's ability to get the ball to the basket.
And it looks on that point, the zone worked. It actually threw Alaska-Anchorage for a bit of a surprise. They stepped back and were like, whoa, what just happened there?
That's very difficult to do in the middle of a possession, but that's what the Augusta State strategy is going to be this evening, and that is with the shot clock running down and Cooper taking the ball and trying to work one-on-one. They're going to try to drop from the man-to-man into his zone.
Daniel Dixon into the game now, the lob, and it's an offensive foul against Siler. That's his second, so 15:07 to go here in the first half. Siler already has 2 fouls, which means he'll have to come out, and checking in is Luke Tambach.
The big guy's going to pick up that kind of foul. When you're 6'11" and you're playing inside and battling for position, the bad foul was that one where he clotheslined the point guard, never even saw him there.
Alaska-Anchorage off to a 2-for-8 start.
Well, let's see with the big guy out of the game if they have a little bit more confidence going inside.
Posting up is Olsen. 15 on the shot clock. Anchorage taking their time. Down to 10. Here's Cooper with the ball. Bernie puts it on the floor to kick back out, and we're going to have a backcourt violation unless Cooper gets to it first.
And even if he gets to it.
Yep. What I meant to say is if it goes out of bounds.
If it goes out of bounds first. Yeah, now Garret Siler, how good is he? He had 31 points in the 106-104 double overtime win yesterday against Central Oklahoma.
His career high 31 points too. Back into the game for Anchorage is Chris Bryant. Dixon.
Luke Tambone, who came in for Siler, is a really good defensive player. I think he might be their best inside defender. So they lose a lot of height and power, but Tambone is a guy who won't embarrass them.
Howard's 3 is off the mark, and all of a sudden, Augusta State has gone cold. They got off to that fantastic start, and they've struggled since. Still up 9-5 here with 14:06 to play in semifinal number 1.
This is the first time in school history for Augusta State that they have reached the Final Four. The trip here for the Elite Eight was the first time in history. Alaska-Anchorage lost in the championship game back in 1988 to UMass Lowell. It's their first trip since 1988. Then Magin in the paint. And now Augusta State has missed their last 5 shots.
A better defensive pressure so far by Alaska-Anchorage.
Kevin White dribbles to the top. Has it stripped by Dixon. Loose ball. We're going to have a foul called against Kevin White. That will be White's first, team second. Not too many whistles so far here in the first 6.5 minutes or so. Substitution for Augusta State. Caleb Brown in, replacing Ben Magin.
Brown is another guy who hit a big shot late in that game yesterday.
You see what Augusta State did to start. 4 for 4 since they're 0 for 5, and that's the reason, frankly, they haven't taken advantage. There is the athletic ability by A.J. Bowman.
He can really get up off the floor, and that was contested. He had a guy moving underneath him.
Kevin White's 3. And a rebound to Bowman.
Alaska-Anchorage a little too quick to settle for that 3-point shot.
Dixon the kick out to Howard, his 3, way long. And a rebound for Kevin White. One thing I love about Bowman, you talk about how he can get up, but it's also his body control in the air. It's fantastic.
It's like he can stay up there and longer than anybody else. He can cover.
McCade Olsen is off the mark from up close.
Yeah, but that's where they need to be going with the ball. Driving it to the basket, getting it down inside. That'll open up the 3-point game.
Bowman posting up, baseline turnaround jumper is long, and the weak side rebound for Cooper. Luke Cooper looking to push.
Alaska-Anchorage has attempted 10 field goals so far, 6 of them threes, and I think that's a little bit too high a percentage.
Especially with Siler out of the game. Chris Bryant back up top to Cooper.
And now you see Augusta State dropping into the zone.
White's 3 from the corner and a rebound for Luke Tambone. Look at Dixon going to the hoop with some tremendous speed, and the rebound put back by A.J. Bowman.
But that's what happens when you go to the basket. You draw the defense, and even if you miss the shot, you have a pretty good offensive rebounding opportunity.
Tough runner, and that gets stuck. Carl Arts doesn't have the luck. Can somebody please get the ball down? The alley-oop to A.J. Bowman. 13-5 Augusta State over Alaska-Anchorage.
You hear car, and what comes to mind? Okay, that's not car. And it's not 2 tons of metal, glass, and rubber. Car is the reason you got your license in the first place. It's passion, emotion, and yes, even a little vanity. Because unlike other vehicles, car is all about you. And car is what makes a Pontiac. Like the G6 GXP.
Need a change of scenery? Announcing Southwest Airlines' big sale. Right now you can fly Southwest Airlines from $49 to $99 to many of our destinations, like Baltimore, Chicago, Denver, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Dallas, San Diego, and more. Book now from $49 to $99 at southwest.com.
You are now free to move about the country.
Why are energy drinks bad? 12 spoons of sugar? That's bad. 200 calories? Bad. Guarana? Tisk, tisk. Good for a short jittery burst, then a debilitating crash. So don't drink energy drinks. Drink 5-Hour Energy. It's not a drink, more like a sip. But with that sip, you'll feel alert and focused for hours, without the crash or jitters. It has 0 sugar, only 4 calories, and no guarana. 5-Hour Energy. Hours of energy now, no crash later.
Back in Springfield, Massachusetts, Augusta State leading Alaska-Anchorage 13-5 here in semifinal game number 1. And the defense for Augusta State has been key.
Boy, it sure has. Alaska-Anchorage only shooting 2 for 12, and the reason is they can't get very good shots. There's a great defensive play that tips the ball away. However, the Seawolves are able to contain it. Now as the clock runs down, you can see Augusta State drops into the zone defense, and what Alaska-Anchorage is left with is a long three-pointer, which they missed. They're 1 for 7 shooting threes. The only guy who's made a three today is Cameron Burney.
Alaska-Anchorage has missed their last 5 shots. They're just 2 for 12 from the field. And now a timeout is taken by Chris Bryant as he was trapped in the corner. So again, nice defense, especially by Augusta State coming out of the timeout.
Well, we've seen Augusta State be very aggressive defensively. And if you're going to pick up your dribble in the corner, they're going to trap you. And Alaska-Anchorage, you can see they're really struggling, 2 for 12. So they've missed 10 shots. They have no offensive rebounds at this point in the game. And they've got 3 turnovers.
And yet they only trail by 8 because Augusta State went in a drought and they started to come out of it, but they allowed Alaska-Anchorage to stay in this.
Well, Augusta State went into a drought when Siler went out of the game, and so they sort of have to adjust the game. They no longer, the first option is no longer to throw it inside, and they've had a little bit of difficulty creating.
And there is another turnover. Defensive back by Daniel Dixon. And ironically enough, his twin brother actually plays football at Norfolk State. Imagine off the mark, and that's rebound is pulled down by Cameron Burney.
Talked about Cooper before the game. He's yet to really get involved.
No whistle, nearly a foul against Bowman. Reset, back up top for Luke Cooper. Cooper, the senior out of Melbourne, Australia.
Now they drop into the zone.
Seven seconds on the shot clock. Burney, foot on line 2. Long rebound, and it's chased down by Jared Kettler.
And that's the first offensive rebound of the game for Alaska-Anchorage. And now the Jaguars of Augusta State back into the man-to-man. Now they're going to drop back into the zone. As soon as Cooper backs it out and tries to set up the late shot clock offense, Augusta State drops back into the zone.
A deep 3 by Chris Bryant, and a long rebound out to Daniel Dixon. Dixon, nobody picking him up. The kick out to Ben Magin. Good look down low for Bowman. Count it and 1. 6 points now for Bowman. He'll go to the free throw line and try to make it a 3-point play.
And this is just a great job of penetration and then making the extra pass. Dixon had the open 3, but he saw Bowman inside, and Bowman has such skill in there. Good quickness and strength.
The foul was on Jared Kettler. His first. Bowman averaging nearly 20 points a game. Makes the free throw. He's got 7 now in this one. 16-5, Augusta State on top. 7 points and 4 rebounds already in the first half for the 2-time first-team All-American and A.J. Bowman.
Now Augusta State's showing some pressure that time, and now they drop back into the zone, so they're in the 2-3 zone. Now on a 7-0 run are the Jaguars.
This defense is really mystifying Alaska-Anchorage. Gambling is Bowman. Cooper, the kick out. Burney, 3 again. And another rebound for Dixon.
That was the first good shot they've had in a while. It was created by the dribble penetration.
Dixon for 3. He's got it. And all of a sudden, Augusta State has broken this game open with a 10-0 run on top, 19-5.
And you may see Augusta State play a little bit more of this zone because Alaska-Anchorage simply hasn't attacked it very well.
Alaska-Anchorage 0 for their last 8. And another steal by Dixon. They call him Flea. You see why. Bowman, foot on the line. He's got it again.
Boy.
This is the start that Augusta State was hoping for, and another timeout called by Alaska-Anchorage and head coach Rusty Osborne. 12-0 run for the Jaguars of Augusta State.
We talked about A.J. Bowman before the game, and he has given us a glimpse of the kind of skill he possesses, the ability to go after it on the offensive board after taking that alley-oop, setting up inside, 185 pounds, but he's strong enough that he can get it up to the goal. Bowman is 6'5", jumps very well, 185 pounds. Bowman was the first guy signed by Dip Mitris. In fact, Mitris, on the way to Mitris' press conference where he was announced as the coach, he stopped off at A.J. Bowman's high school and signed him. So he technically signed A.J. Bowman to a scholarship at Augusta State before he became the coach.
It's actually a great story. Reporters always want their inside sources. Here we are, Division II basketball semifinals. Justin Kutcher and Dan Bonner with you. Augusta State versus Alaska-Anchorage in semifinal number 1. Demetrius Howard, his three is short. Rebound by Madge, and the putback off the mark. And now it's Caleb Brown, the rebound, and a reset now for Augusta State. But now you look at, reporters always wanted the inside scoop. Here's a player who gets the inside scoop in high school.
Yeah. Guy stops off and says, hey, I'm going to be the coach. Sign up.
Look down low. And the kick out, 10 seconds on the shot clock. Ben Madgen with the left. Madgen's been the coldest player on the floor thus far for Augusta State. But we have a foul, and it's called against Madgen.
Madgen is the second leading scorer for Augusta State. He also leads the team in minutes played. He is the latest in a long line of Australians recruited at Augusta State. One of the reasons for that, their athletic, Clint Bryant used to do clinics and stuff in Australia. Boy, Alaska-Anchorage really struggling.
Ever since the scoreboard was reversed, Alaska-Anchorage hasn't been able to put one on the board. 8 minutes now, the drought for the Seawolves.
Well, they've got only 5 points and 6 turnovers.
Turnaround jumper, and there it goes, Carl Arts.
Well, Arts is the guy, one of the guys that they really have to get going. That ends a 12-0 run, and Arts, we said, he's a very good shooter, shoots almost 50% from the floor, averaging 18 points a game.
Traveling called against Dixon, and we have a timeout. 21-7, Augusta State leading. Alaska-Anchorage finally gets a bucket. It took them 8 minutes to get one, and they trailed by a lot here with 7:33 to play in the first half.
Do you think that we, as the Coke brand, would have a case against the Coke Zero brand for taste infringement? What's your specialty?
I am in real estate law.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Let's say
This is a property.
an
okay?
architectural. It's made a landmark. Next door, somebody buys the lot. They build an eerily similar house. What can we do there? Let's put on the lawyer pants and walk down that path.
Da, 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 da. Kelly, it's Daddy. Boop. Hey, Pumpkin, it's Dad's phone. He can't answer right now because he doesn't have AT&T, which means he gets 0 bars up here on this ridge. So, that text message about you spending the night at Steffi's, Johnny Knocker here won't get that. And come Monday, you're gonna be the girl with a crazy father who no one wants to date. Kelly! Sorry, Pumpkin.
For the best coverage, switch to AT&T. More bars in more places.
Kelly Moore!
You know what? You've earned this. Never fled from Spalding. True to the game.
21-17, Augusta State leading Alaska-Anchorage here in the first half of the 2008 NCAA Division II Softball Championship. Will be televised live by NCAA Production Syndication on Saturday, May 17th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Check your local listings for regional sports networks and stations carrying the game in your area. For more info about the NCAA Division II Spring Championships Festival, log on to ncaa.com. And out of the timeout, you see Augusta State in a full-court press.
A.J. Bowman has outscored Alaska-Anchorage to this point, but keep in mind, deficits in this tournament are not uncommonly overcome. Yesterday, Augusta State was down by 14 midway through the second half, and again where they were down by 6 in overtime, and yet they came back to win the game. So Alaska-Anchorage also has that capability. They shoot over 40% from beyond the arc. And generally, they take pretty good care of the basketball.
Doug Hardy just in the game, passed to Lonnie Ridgway, also just into the game for Alaska-Anchorage. Two players who don't see a lot of time put into this game by Rusty Osborne, maybe to give them a spark.
Well, you see, he's looking for a combination that can put some points on the board and stop Augusta State at the same time.
Howard thought about a very deep three and thought better of it.
It's hard. It's going to be hard to shoot that over Olsen. He's 6'8". Olsen's out there guarding you. Howard should consider trying to drive the ball to the basket.
There is a deep three by Howard. Off the back of the rim. And he gets the rebound. Goes right to the hoop. A.J. Bowman can't handle the pass. And a turnover for Augusta State. 5th turnover of the game for the Jaguars of Augusta State. Substitution for Alaska-Anchorage. Chris Bryant back in, replacing Lonnie Ridgway.
On the season, Augusta State actually has turned it over more times than their opponents. That's a pretty odd stat for a team that's in the Final Four. So they are a team that you can force them to turn the ball over.
Chris Bryant up top, Luke Cooper. 18-footer by McCade Olsen is good. Well, don't look now, Dan, but all of a sudden it's a 4-0 run for Alaska-Anchorage.
Now, this is a team that won the West Regional. They're the number 14 ranked team in the country coming in. They're not going to roll over and die here. But they've dug themselves a pretty big hole, and now they get a foul inside. I think that's Arts that's going to pick up the foul.
It is on Arts, his first, the team's 4th. And at the free throw line goes A.J. Bowman.
Arts is a guy, there's nothing flashy about his game. He just puts points on the board.
Bowman's got 10. He had 22 in the game yesterday against Central Oklahoma, but only 5 in the first half.
Yeah, didn't have his best game in the first half, but really was a key to that comeback. You know, we said he didn't have his best game, but in the second half he was spectacular. Ended with 22 points and 8 rebounds.
And he played the last 12 minutes of regulation and the 2 overtimes with 4 fouls. Cooper trying to get it down low to Arts, posting up against Bowman. It's a tough matchup for Arts. He's got the strength advantage.
I think it's a matchup they have to try to make some use of. There's
Chris Bryant, the pull-up jumper.
There's that zone defense again, dropping back in the last 15 seconds.
Bowman, good pass by Demetrius Howard, and really nice hands by Bowman to handle that pass. 13 in the game now for him. Arts will spot up from 3. Front rim, and a rebound by Caleb Brown. For that, points in the paint, 14-0 for Augusta State. Steve Smith, the kick out. Caleb Brown, pump fake to the hoop. And an offensive foul called against Brown. That's the first foul against Brown.
Boy, Bowman, what a nice job catching the ball in transition. Not only can he run, but he's got nice hands too. That was not an easy pass to handle.
Daniel Dixon back into the game for Augusta State.
Now very small in the backcourt go the Jaguars.
Bryant left open, had too much time, had time to think about it.
Oh, he's too far away. He was actually behind the NBA three-point line out there. I think lots of times guys get confused when there's 2 lines down there. They look down, they see the line, they don't realize it's the outer line.
Dixon looking for Bowman, posting up. The rainbow turnaround, and a good rebound by Doug Hardy. Skying for it, Hardy only 5'11".
Part of the problem for Alaska-Anchorage is they haven't gotten any easy baskets today.
You know, Luke Cooper is not a guy who scores a lot of points, but look at what Cooper has done today. He's attempted 1 shot.
Well, and more than that, how many times have you seen him drive the ball to the basket? It hasn't happened. They're doing a great job forcing Cooper to stay on the perimeter. Coaches always talk about keeping your guy in front of you, and that's what they have done to Cooper. He just hasn't been able to drive the ball to the basket and create anything.
Cooper trying to create.
And that's exactly what we're talking about. Cooper that time takes it hard to his right hand.
The foul is called against Dixon, and that is his first. 25-9, Augusta State leading. Cooper, wave it off. Foul on the floor.
Kelly, it's Daddy. Boop. Hey, Pumpkin, it's Dad's phone. He can't answer right now because he doesn't have AT&T, which means he gets 0 bars up here on this ridge. So, that text message about you spending the night at Steffi's, Johnny Knocker here won't get that. And come Monday, you're gonna be the girl with the crazy father who no one wants to date. Kelly! Sorry, Pumpkin.
For the best coverage, switch to AT&T. More bars in more places.
Kelly Moore!
As the official performance machines of the NCAA, Pontiac understands what it takes for NCAA student athletes to perform at a high level. And that's why we created the Pontiac Game-Changing Performance Program to recognize their drive and dedication. To date, Pontiac has made over $1 million in general scholarship fund contributions to schools through the Game-Changing Performance Program. Supporting NCAA schools and their fans, it's what makes Pontiac the official performance machines of the NCAA.
He's got it. He's got it.
Yes! Hey, let's order a pizza. Make it a thin crust. You got it.
Hello?
Yeah, we'd like a large thin crust pizza.
Brown?
Exactly. And you know what? Make it the way I like it. Loaded with mozzarella and toppings.
You know I hate when you do this.
Wonderful. And another thing, make it snappy because we're starving, right, boys?
Ralph.
Chop, chop.
For fresh baked pizza today, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Hey, great pizza, Ralph.
That'd be me.
A big lead for Augusta State here in the first half, 25-9 over Alaska-Anchorage. And join us live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern tonight for NCAA production syndication coverage of the second semifinal from Springfield, Massachusetts, when #1 Bentley takes on #3 Winona State. Check your local listings for regional sports networks and stations carrying the game in your area, and you see that matchup. That's phenomenal.
70 wins and 1 loss between those two teams. And as we mentioned, Bentley has won is 66-1 over the last 2 years. Their only loss was at this tournament to Winona State last year.
Hardy to the hoop. He can't hit one off the backboard. And the rebound is taken down by Tambone.
Well, they didn't make the basket, but that's exactly what they need to do. Get the ball to the goal to create some opportunities. The other thing you'd like to do on the defensive end is create some turnovers so you can get yourself some easy baskets.
Dixon into Ben Madgen, posting up against Cooper. He's got the height advantage. He's just off the mark here in the first half.
That was really a forced shot.
Down low into Carl Arts, double teamed right away.
I think he walked.
Travel.
Again, great defense. Augusta State's not only doing a good job pressuring the ball, but they're doing an outstanding job helping out.
Ben Madgen takes a seat on the bench. Madgen is 0 for 6 to open this game.
I think just a little too anxious, and that's what Dimitris is telling him on the bench. Just relax a little bit. We've got a working margin here.
Bowman posting up, good defense by Carl Arts. Gets the steal. Here comes Cooper again. McCade Olson, offensive foul. And how about the defense by Luke Tambone? You mentioned his low post defense. He comes in for Siler, who went out the 15-minute mark, and he's done a fantastic job.
Well, obviously he's not 6'11", but you can see there he does a great job getting his body in the way. And McCade Olson, who we mentioned was the most outstanding player in the West Regional Tournament, has really struggled so far here in Springfield.
For Olson, that's his first foul. You talk about that regional tournament, 23 points per game, over 4.5 rebounds a game, and he's been a non-factor so far in the first game and a half. Hardy again. And another turnover. Good defense by A.J. Bowman.
It's hard to lob it over Bowman.
Bowman down low. Tough shot. It almost looked like he didn't know where he was on the floor. Demetrius Howard with a new shot clock. They'll reset it. Steve Smith. Tambone doesn't want to shoot that one. Under 2 minutes to play here in the first half, 25-9. Augusta State on top, and a foul will be called on Doug Hardy.
Now there's still 1 minute and 52 seconds left to play in the first half, but Alaska-Anchorage is getting awfully close to a mark that they want to have nothing to do with, and there you see it right there. The fewest points scored in a half, 11.
And this is a team in Alaska-Anchorage who averages nearly 74 points a game. It was a low-scoring game for them yesterday, winning by 3, 55-52.
But that was more a style game. California, Pennsylvania plays a little bit slower style.
Chris Bryant picks up the foul, his first team 7th. It'll be a 2-shot foul, as the foul was on the shot. And at the free throw line is Demetrius Howard. You look at Rusty Osborne, Coach of the Year in the Great Northwest Athletic Conference and the West District. Spent 13 years as an assistant for Alaska-Anchorage. And now he is the head coach, and he's sitting there on the bench thinking, what has happened to my team so far?
Well, one of the things that's happened to his team is they have not been very aggressive offensively. They have had no free throw attempts in the game, and one of the reasons is that they've settled for perimeter jump shots. And the referees aren't going to call a lot of fouls against a team that's not, or for a team that's shooting perimeter jump shots. You get fouled if you attack the basket.
Carl Arts, turnaround jumper, use the glass. He has been all the offense for Alaska-Anchorage. He's got 6 of the 11 points for the Seawolves.
And the reason that they only have 11 points is they've been limited to shots like that. That was a really, really tough opportunity. A great offensive play by Arts, because that was pretty good defense.
5 for 24 now from the field for Alaska-Anchorage. Under a minute to play. Bowman has it stripped. Loose ball taken away by McCade Olson. Maybe Alaska-Anchorage can get some momentum going into the locker room.
But you see, even with the turnover, Augusta State got back very quickly. No transition opportunity for Alaska-Anchorage. And now the Jaguars of Augusta State drop back into the 2-3 zone, which has been exceedingly effective. Oh, that ball's out of bounds. Oh, what a catch by Olson.
And then he got away with a walk. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Cooper to Olson in the corner for 3. And the rebound by Tambo. 15 seconds on the floor. Dixon still on the floor, and we have a whistle, a foul, and the foul will be against Doug Hardy. It'll be a 1-and-1 opportunity now for Daniel Dixon.
And Dixon's only a 60% free throw shooter, and here he's going for the basketball, and Hardy gets the foul because he grabs him around the neck. And that's something that the officials have really been looking at all year long. You're not allowed to dive on top of a guy trying to get a loose ball.
I thought you were going to say you're not allowed to grab a guy around the neck.
Well, that's been a rule for a long time. The one thing that foul did was save an easy 2 points because Augusta State had an open man under the basket. But Dixon gets both of them from the free throw line anyway.
28-11. Alaska-Anchorage, the fewest points in a half in their history is 12 back in 1980. Hardy, 3 from the corner, and they have a new low for 11 points in the first half for Alaska-Anchorage. 28-11, that is the score in favor of Augusta State. Coming up at the half, we'll have a preview of semifinal number 2 between number 1 Bentley and number 3 Winona State. And of course, we'll have first half highlights and stats. The Augusta State fans, they wanted a blackout. Well, I think whatever they wanted, they got here in the first half. They couldn't have asked for a better first half from them, leading 28-11. And now Dan Bonner is joined by the head coach, Dip Mitras.
Thank you very much, Justin. Dip, your guys seemed to really control the first half. What was the key?
Well, we kept the Australian out of the paint, 14, and we did a great job of keeping the ball on the post. We did a good job getting post defense. We got a little tired and relaxed. We had a substitute. Our big kid got 2 fouls. That hurt us, but be up this many points with him with 2 fouls, we're in good shape.
You're in good shape, but what do you have to do in the second half?
Control the tempo, keep 14 out of the paint, all right, and keep doing a good job on 34 because he's a pretty good player. And we got to do a better job executing. We hung on 25 for a long time. We shot way too many quick shots.
Okay, thanks very much, Dip. Good luck. Justin, there you have it. Coaches are never satisfied.
Coaches truly aren't ever satisfied, leading 28-11 here in the first half. A great start for Augusta State, not for Alaska-Anchorage. When we come back, we'll have a preview of game number 2 between Bentley and Winona State. That's coming up at the half.
Need a change of scenery? Announcing Southwest Airlines' big sale. Right now you can fly Southwest Airlines from $49 to $99 to many of our destinations, like Baltimore, Chicago, Denver, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Dallas, San Diego, and more. Book now from $49 to $99 at southwest.com.
You are now free to move about the country.
Of fencing and 3 years of law school teach you a lot. For him, it's confidence. For me, it's pride. Go to ncaa.student.org to find out how your child could become one of the many student athletes who go pro in something other than sports.
Ten elite universities, stretching across 4 western states. Steeped in the values of academic excellence, driven by the mission of being the nation's premier athletic conference. The destination for student athletes competing at the highest level. The Pac-10, the Conference of Champions.
And welcome back. We're at the half between Augusta State and the University of Alaska-Anchorage. And hello again, everybody. Alongside Dan Bonner, I'm Justin Kutcher. And Dan, we obviously know that these two teams won their quarterfinals last night. But the nightcap edition of the quarterfinals was pretty good. We saw a great game between Winona State and Grand Valley State. And then Bentley, they won a game pretty easily, but they stuck around, did North Alabama.
Very interesting night session to the quarterfinals. Grand Valley State was tied for #1 ranking in the country. They were undefeated. Winona State had lost once, and that really was a highly competitive game. Winona coming out on top, and then the team that was tied with Grand Valley for the #1 ranking in the country was Bentley. They are actually undefeated, and they played. It was a very exciting up and down kind of 10-point game.
An exciting up and down 10-point game. It turned out to over 100 points in the game, and here's a look at the highlights. First, Winona State versus Grand Valley State. Jonte Flowers, he got off to a great start, kept it going all night long, hits the 3 there, 5 for 8 from three-point land. But it was Callistus Izuku, the big man down low for Grand Valley State, finished with 19 points, but Jonte Flowers, too much, 29 points on the evening. Winona State goes on to win it 67-54 over Grand Valley State. Grand Valley State suffers their first loss of the season. Then Bentley versus North Alabama. First half, Yusuf Abdul Ali, tough runner. Getting to the hoop is Jason Westrall. They were able to do it for the entire first half. The answer for North Alabama was Thomas Fraze, inside and out, 25 points in all, but too much defense by Bentley. Westrall again, a steal, 26 points with the easy layup, 102-92. The fans go home happy. Bentley takes out North Alabama. And you look at the brackets and you see what we have: Augusta State, Alaska-Anchorage, and then Bentley, Winona State, a rematch of what we saw last year in the quarterfinals.
It's really funny. Last year in the quarterfinals, Bentley came in undefeated and Winona State beat them. This year, Winona State's going against Bentley, also undefeated in the semifinals. So Bentley, they're probably looking for an easier draw. They want to play anybody besides Winona.
It's truly amazing when you think about it. Of all the teams, there have been 9 teams in the history of the Elite Eight in Division II who have come into this undefeated.
Bentley has now done it in back-to-back seasons.
Well, Bentley's done it in back-to-back seasons, and Winona State has had to play undefeated teams now. This will make 3 times in the last 2 Elite Eights.
Winona State won the championship 2 years ago, lost last year in the championship. What do you see happening tonight?
Well, I think it'll be a very interesting game. Winona State probably has guys who are a little bit more athletic, but Bentley plays so very well together. I think we'll see a hotly contested game, and the outcome, well, we'll just have to wait to find out.
It should be a lot of fun. That's coming up after this game. But coming up when we come back, we'll have first half highlights and stats. That's all coming up right after this.
Need a change of scenery? Announcing Southwest Airlines' big sale. Right now you can fly Southwest Airlines from $49 to $99 to many of our destinations, like Baltimore, Chicago, Denver, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Dallas, San Diego, and more. Book now from $49 to $99 at southwest.com.
You are now free to move about the country.
Our day starts very early. We never know exactly when we'll have a full house, so we have to be ready at all hours. We have regularly scheduled deployments that come through, but things rarely run on schedule, so we have a lot of surprises. We have birthdays, we have family reunions. We even had a wedding here once. But whatever they need, we'll do our very best to see they get it. If they need travel arrangements or use of a computer, if they need to change diapers or dry someone's tears, we can help. It's the very least we can do, considering what they do for us. If you want to make a difference in the life of someone serving our country, if you really want to make a difference, the USO is how it's done. Help us help them.
The USO depends on the generosity of the American people, people just like you. To find out how you can help, visit us at uso.org. The USO, until everyone comes home.
Hoop fans, here's your chance to attend the 2009 Men's Final Four at Ford Field in Detroit, April 4th and 6th. Log on to NCAA.com to apply for your tickets online. That's NCAA.com. You can also apply for tickets to the 2009 Women's Final Four, April 5th and 7th at the Scott Trade Center in St. Louis. Log on to NCAA.com to apply for tickets online. That's NCAA.com, the official website of the NCAA.
And welcome back at the half. Augusta State leading Alaska-Anchorage 28-11 here in semifinal game number 1. And hello again, everybody. Justin Kutcher and Dan Bonner. And Dan, first half, if you're Augusta State, you got to be happy. If you're Alaska-Anchorage, you're back in that locker room thinking, all right, something's got to change.
Well, what has to change is they've got to do a better job getting shots on offense. The Augusta State defense really has been outstanding. Whenever you hold a team to 19% shooting in a Final Four situation, that is really, really impressive. And as you can see here, the defense, they've done a nice job denying the ball inside, pressuring the ball out on the perimeter, and we've seen situations where the shot clock is run down. It's now at 5 there. They drop back into the zone defense, and Augusta State has really struggled, Alaska-Anchorage has really struggled to get good shots. Here you have another example of the defense. The penetration's cut off. As the ball goes back outside, they back it out again, and now Augusta State drops back into the zone, and what Alaska-Anchorage is left with is a tough contested shot, and Augusta State has done a nice job turning that into offense, so the transition offense has been really helpful. A.J. Bowman is the guy who converted that play that you just saw, and he's converted some others too. The lob inside, and then he gets to the offensive boards. He has been extremely active in the game thus far. He has been one of the big keys.
A.J. Bowman, 13 points, 5 rebounds. For Alaska-Anchorage, the only bright spot really has been Carl Arts.
Well, he has scored 3 field goals. He's only taken 6 field goal attempts. He's got 6 points in the first half. And when 6 points in the first half is more than half your points, you know you've got a problem on the offensive end.
And to look at the first half stats, I'm not sure if you're a fan of Alaska-Anchorage if you want to look at this. Augusta State not shooting a great percentage, but when the other team's shooting 19%, you're going to have an advantage.
Well, they dominated the inside, and that's what we talked about before the game. They have simply dominated the inside, and Alaska-Anchorage just has not been able to get any offense going.
The Augusta State fans, they are still cheering here at the half. 28-11, the Jaguars lead the Seawolves.
Lightning quick.
This one goes in.
Tenacious grit.
They are so relentless.
Exceptional talent.
Tough handle.
Beautiful play there.
Her moves tell the whole story.
Open player, shot, score for Northwestern.
Spring swings with NCAA women's lacrosse.
And another goal. It's a hat trick now.
Watch Cornell at Princeton, Saturday at 3, only on CBS College Sports.
Rod, let's go. Kayla, come in. Looks like the med school scouts are out early today.
There are over 380,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of them will be going pro in something other than sports. To learn more, go to ncaa.org.
This spring, there's no stopping that zipping, walloping sound that gets your heart pumping.
It's a barrel last shot up the middle to the winning Sam's out of here.
The pain of college baseball is on the pulse of college sports. NCAA Baseball, presented by Easton. Catch Baylor at TCU, Tuesday at 8:15, only on CBS College Sports.
From the network that brings you the excitement of the National Football League, NCAA basketball and March Madness, the Masters, PGA Championship, PGA Tour, U.S. Open 10, SEC football, and the Tour de France. Comes the new CBS College Sports Network with tons of live games, a nightly college sports show, and everything you need to keep your blood pumping. Unbelievable! The CBS College Sports Network, the new pulse of college sports.
Back at the half, Augusta State on top of Alaska-Anchorage 28-11, and Dan is joined now by the head coach for Alaska-Anchorage, Rusty Osborne. Dan?
Thanks very much, Justin. And Rusty, a very simple question. What do you do?
Well, we've got to start making shots. We start executing better offensively. They did a few special things to take us out of things, but the second half of the last 10 minutes, we reacted a little bit better. We just missed a lot of open shots with good shooters. You're not going to win many games going 1 for 12 from the 3 when you shoot 42% for the year. That's a big part of our game. We've got to make those shots. If we do that and we continue to play defense, we might be able to work our way back in.
All right, thanks, Rusty. Good luck.
All right, thank you very much, Dan. Look at the stats for Alaska-Anchorage. 11 points in the first half, ties an Elite 8 record, not one of those records you want. 19% from the field, 1 for 12 from three-point land, and 9 turnovers, that all coming in the first half. And for the 17th consecutive year, the NCAA Division II Men's Basketball Championship will be televised live on CBS. The 2008 championship is this Saturday, March 29th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on CBS. For ticket info, call 413-787-6600 or log on to ncaa.com. Dan, we talked early in this game. We thought a key would be power play for Augusta State. Their big man got it into foul trouble, and they still seem to be okay.
Well, we talked about power play, and basically we meant scoring inside, and we just weren't referring to Garret Siler. We were talking about the ability to score close to the basket. And there you get a look at what we were talking about. Points in the paint, 14 for Augusta State, 0 for Alaska-Anchorage. Offensive rebounds, they've done a nice job. They've got 6 of them. And then the starting center inside, McCade Olson for Alaska-Anchorage, only has 2 points on 1 for 5 shooting. So it really hasn't, they really haven't been able to survive inside. But as you heard Rusty Osborne say, they haven't made any shots either. And they've missed some open ones, but they haven't missed very many uncontested shots. And I think that's really the issue here, that Augusta State has played very well defensively. I think Alaska-Anchorage has to find a way to get the ball to the basket.
I will say this, in a matter of one day, because that's how much they've had to prepare, I'm very impressed with what Dick Mitras and his coaching staff have done, this game plan that they had to go into a zone when the shot clock got down to about 10.
Well, of course, they're allowed to sit around and watch, and they watched Alaska-Anchorage play yesterday, and they noticed in a game that we already said was a little bit slower paced, but every time the shot clock ran down, they backed it out and they let Cooper operate, and they came up with a defensive plan to stop that.
And they have done exactly that. 28-11 as we begin the second half of play. Augusta State in blue, Alaska-Anchorage in gold. Steve Smith running the point for the Jaguars of Augusta State. Bowman, 13 first half points. Then Magin, he struggled. Siler back into the game, and he gets called for travel.
And that's where it has to start for Alaska-Anchorage, is on the defensive end of the court.
And now catching the Jaguars sleeping. Good job by McCade Olson racing down the floor to get an easy basket.
Well, there you go. Easy baskets. That has to be that you're not going to come back in the game taking contested opportunities. You've got to get some easy ones.
So the scoring leaders passing by. Bowman into the paint. Tough shot, has it blocked. And on the floor, it is Chris Bryant. And again, here comes Anchorage. Keeping the pivot foot on the ground was Chris Bryant. In the corner, McCade Olson looking for Carl Arts.
You might mention that the largest halftime deficit ever overcome in an Elite Eight was 18. That was by Southern Indiana in the 1995 championship game.
Talk about demoralizing a championship game, being up by 18 at half. You think you're going to raise the trophy. I guess that's kind of like last year's national championship team also.
Well, when you're up by 7 points with 45 seconds left in the game, you figure you got it salted away too. But Winona State didn't. Barton with that miracle won the game. And I don't think Alaska-Anchorage is looking at necessarily a miracle. They just have to play very well in this second half.
And frankly, if they play defense the way they played in the first half, oh my gosh. Bowman couldn't put it down, but he got up for that.
I don't understand how he got to it. I thought that ball was well out of bounds.
Olson spots up from three, and he knocks it down.
And that is the second three-point field goal made in the game for Olson, who now has 7 points. He's got all 5 points that have been scored by either team in this second half.
28-16, Alaska-Anchorage has come out with a little bit more emotion here in the second half. They have cut the deficit to 12.
The Division II student-athlete experience emphasizes academic and athletic excellence. From Olympic-style sports festival championships to community-focused partnerships, Division II schools are moving forward with a new attitude. Learning, service, passion, sportsmanship, resourcefulness, and balance. These are the attributes of student-athletes, coaches, administrators, and alumni and fans who say with pride, I chose Division II.
The NCAA Division II student-athlete experience goes beyond the classrooms and playing fields. It means a commitment to service and community, helping organizations like the Make-A-Wish Foundation by raising money to help grant the wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions. Kids like Jacob.
Some student-athletes gave of their time and their energy to raise the money.
It was fun to meet Jeff Gordon.
NCAA Division II, training student-athletes for lifelong achievement.
I love learning.
I believe in service. I am full of passion. I embody sportsmanship.
I trust in my resourcefulness.
I like balance.
That's why I chose.
I chose. I chose.
I chose.
I chose. I chose Division II.
Welcome back, 28-16, Augusta State over Alaska-Anchorage. Alaska-Anchorage, though, they've come out with a different bit of intensity here. Well, a nearly amazing alley-oop.
Well, they're trying to throw it to Bowman, and you can see how high off the floor he gets. And then Olson answers down on the other end. And now you're looking at, you were down 17 at halftime, but you played fewer than 2 minutes. It's 12, and so 12 is a much more manageable number. More importantly, it's a much more manageable sounding number.
Absolutely, and if you're Augusta State going into the locker room with a 17-point lead, you have to know that the other team is not going to just give up. And how do you maintain your intensity?
Well, you have to play, you have to continue to play with aggressiveness. You cannot become conservative with your thinking.
My other question, as we've seen Siler now have 2 turnovers to open this half, do you take him out as a team played so well in the first half without him?
Well, one of the things that's interesting, and here's Olson again, and again, we talked about Olson, his 23 points per game average in the 3 games of the West Regional. That's an 8-0 run to start the second half, and that's exactly the way, if you're Alaska-Anchorage, you'd have scripted it.
Siler can't put it down. Magin gets fouled. He gets hit on the head, and he is shaken up.
You know, the interesting thing is that Alaska-Anchorage probably prepared to play against the big guy inside, and their game plan may have been thrown off by the fact that he went out. And now, however, the game plan back on track with Olson hitting 3-point baskets.
Magin looks to be okay.
Easy for you to say.
The foul is on Chris Bryant, his second, team's first.
And when you come out in the second half and you start shooting the ball well, that really makes the game easier and gives you a lot of confidence. And Magin, you saw his numbers there, a critically important player for Dmitris and his team. And that's Magin's first point of the game.
0 for 6 from the field, now 2 for 2 at the free throw line. The first 2 points of the second half for Augusta State. Good ball movement by Alaska-Anchorage.
And this is an Alaska-Anchorage team not used to coming back in games. Their largest halftime deficit they overcame was 5 points this year. Shows you how good they've been all season long. So they're in unfamiliar territory here.
Siler had good low post position, could not get him the basketball.
Well, one of the ways you guard a big guy is you keep great pressure on the ball.
That was smooth by A.J. Bowman for 3. Bowman's got 16 now. The answer 3 by Chris Bryant.
You know, when you shoot 42% from beyond the arc on the year and you go 1 for 12 in the first half, you got to make a lot of shots to get up to your average.
Demetrius Howard down low, and it's stripped, but a foul on the floor.
So far in the second half, they've done a really nice job collapsing on Garret Siler inside. That's the first time they've been called for a foul. But every time he catches the ball, the Seawolves are swarming all over him.
That foul was on Chris Bryant, his 3rd. That's right. He goes to the bench. Coming back in is Kevin White. Chris Bryant actually asked his coach, no, coach, leave me in, leave me in. But his coach said, nope, we're going to take you out right now.
And Bryant, it might be critical in the comeback. He is a tremendous 3-point shooter. 91 threes so far this year.
Magin looking for his first field goal. Short again. And a rebound by Cooper. Luke Cooper, the senior All-American. Olson, another 3. That's the first miss from downtown here in the second half. 3 for 4 from 3-point land here in the second half. Arts will try a 3. He gets the roll.
Well, they're rolling from 3-point range now.
That's one way to make up a deficit.
Wow, they're 1 for 12 in the first half. They're 3 or 4 in the second half. Excuse me, 4 or 5.
And a block coming over from the weak side from McCade Olson. Olson running the floor, the skip pass.
Boy, nice ball movement.
Cooper finds Olson. He gets fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line for 2. A 14-5 run for Alaska-Anchorage to open up the second half, thanks to some good 3-point shooting and some friendly rolls.
Trust. It's everything. Nobody hands out trust. Talent is one thing. Combine talent with people you trust, and you will walk on that court with a level of respect no one can match.
The Hartford, a company built on nearly 200 years of trust. Ask your advisor what the Hartford can do to help you plan for your future. Because you're not preparing to retire, you're preparing to live.
They pick up their games, pick up their teams, and pick up the pace. Enterprise salutes NCAA student athletes for picking us all up. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
It's easy to feel like you're on the same team when you stay at Sheraton. Starwood Preferred guests earn star points regardless of what team they root for, so everybody wins.
They pick up touchdowns, pick up the bucks, and pick up their teams. Enterprise salutes NCAA student athletes for picking us all up. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
This telecast is sponsored by the NCAA Division II President's Council. NCAA Division II, training student athletes for lifelong achievement. Back at the Mass Mutual Center for the NCAA Division II men's basketball semifinal game 1. Augusta State leading by just 8 points now here in the second half. At the free throw line is McCade Olsen for 2. And Dan, we see Garret Siler still in the game, and I understand he's a big part of this offense for Augusta State. But as I said to you before, as I asked, at what point do you think Dimitris maybe takes him out and goes with what worked in the first half?
Well, I think that Dimitris is looking at what Siler can do for his team. He's really got to get his offense rolling here. They're having the same problem that Rusty Osborne's guys had in the first half, and that is their offense hasn't been clicking. And I think Siler's an important part of that offense.
Olsen makes both free throws. Those free throws were the first 2 of the game for Alaska-Anchorage. That's right, 25 minutes in, and they attempted their first free throws. An 8-0 run for Anchorage. An offensive rebound for Siler. Putback is no good. The next basket for Siler will be his 1,000th career point, and he just can't seem to get it. And then Ants comes right back. And look at this. Look what we have, a 33-29 game.
You never see a 17-point lead erased that fast.
Bowman has been the offense for Augusta State. He's got to step it up again here when they need him. Howard for 3. He's got it. That's a big shot.
Howard hit a couple of huge three-point baskets down the stretch in regulation.
Already, Alaska-Anchorage has outscored what they did in the first half.
Well, they've got 18 points. They've almost scored twice as many points. They've done it in less than 6 minutes.
There is a foul against Howard.
They're moving much more crisply on offense. What they weren't in the first half and what they've been so far in the second half is hard to guard. I mean, they're moving much better. They're driving the ball to the basket.
It also looks like they're playing with a lot more confidence. And obviously you get confidence if you're making shots, but it almost seems like they understand now what Augusta State is doing defensively, and they can attack it.
Now, the game is always much easier when the ball's going in the basket.
Carl Ants thought about a 3. Up top. 3 is short.
See, I don't think Bernie needs to settle for that particular 3. He can drive the ball past Siler and create some opportunities.
Siler facing a double team, and there is his 1,000th career point. With his family in attendance here in Springfield, he gets to the 1,000 point mark.
And that's where you ask the question, at what point will Dimitris take him out of the game and go with what worked in the first half? Well, as long as he does things like that, the answer is he's not going to take him out, because if he's quick to the basket, and he was that time, Alaska-Anchorage simply can't do anything to guard him.
And now a timeout taken by Cameron Burney as he could not get the ball in bounds. 38-29, Augusta State leading over Alaska-Anchorage with 13:38 to play here in the second half. And, you know, like you said, you don't just see leads, 17-point leads, disappear as quickly as they have. But join us live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern tonight for NCAA production syndication coverage of the second semifinal from right here in Springfield, Massachusetts, where number 1 Bentley will take on number 3 Winona State. Check your local listings for regional sports networks and stations carrying the game in your area. And speaking of leads and making those leads go away, Winona State yesterday against Grand Valley State, we saw them come out in the first half, and they didn't look like they deserved to be on the same floor as Grand Valley State. And here they go, and they go on to win the game pretty easily.
Well, one of the things that you have to do if you're Alaska-Anchorage is understand that you're probably not going to score 17 points in a row, that you're going to cut into lead, and then Augusta State is going to stretch it out a little bit, and then you're going to cut into the lead a little bit more. There's an offensive foul and a little illegal screen that'll play off that, that'll rule out that basket. But Augusta State's going to stretch it out, and then what you have to make sure is every time they stretch it out, you get a little bit closer.
Cameron Burney was called for the offensive foul, the illegal screen. They're looking down to the low block to Siler. Magin still looking for that first field goal. Again, this is a guy who averages over 16 a game. Ants top of the key three.
Boy, Arts, he got the last one. They called a foul on that one, so he missed it. But the key is there, he got a wide open look. He'll make most of those.
Swinging the ball around for Bowman. Loses dribble in the paint. Stripped away by Kevin White. Cooper gets the pick by Olsen. Olsen dives to the basket. Up top, swinging around. Cooper now with the basketball. Sets it back up top. And there goes Augusta State back into the 2-3 zone.
Now obviously Alaska-Anchorage had a chance to talk about this at halftime.
And there is a steal by Bowman. It's kicked around.
Now they're going to get a shot clock violation because Augusta State never had possession of that ball. And so the shot clock never reset.
Some substitutions now for Augusta State. Caleb Brown and Luke Tambone come into the game. Going out, A.J. Bowman and Ben Magin. Bowman going out, you may ask why. Well, he gets a breather, and the next whistle under 12 minutes will be immediate timeout, so that just extends his timeout and his break on the bench. A hold away from the ball.
Jeremiah Truman going to pick that one up.
Truman, a 6'9" junior from Stratford, New Zealand. Can you guess his nickname?
Very imaginative.
Kiwi. Travel called against Dixon. And there is that whistle. 38-29, Augusta State on top over Alaska-Anchorage here with 11:58 to go in the second half.
No matter how demanding my workout is, I'm not done until I finish it with EAS Mileplex. Taken within 30 minutes after my workout, the high-quality protein in Mileplex helps me refuel and build lean muscle. That way, I don't waste my workout. Now I'm done. Grab your EAS Mileplex at a leading retailer near you, or for your free sample, go to EAS.com.
Need a change of scenery? Announcing Southwest Airlines' big sale. Right now, you can fly Southwest Airlines from $49 to $99 to many of our destinations, like Baltimore, Chicago, Denver, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Dallas, San Diego, and more. Book now from $49 to $99 at Southwest.com.
You are now free to move about the country.
Your love for car has never been more real. Introducing the first ever Pontiac G8 GT, the most powerful car under 30 grand.
Augusta State on top of Alaska-Anchorage 38-29, and the 2008 NCAA Division II Baseball Championship will be televised live by NCAA Productions on Saturday, March 31st at 1 p.m. Eastern. Check your local listings for regional sports networks and stations carrying the game in your area. For more info, log on to ncaa.com.
Alaska-Anchorage making a little bit of a run right here. They've chopped 8 points off that halftime lead, and here's one of the reasons why. The Seawolves coming out, they're shooting 55%. That's after 19 in the first half, and you see Augusta State has cooled off a little bit. In addition, Augusta State has turned the ball over 4 times in this half.
Back in the game is Chris Bryant playing with 3 fouls.
Again, Bryant, a very dangerous three-point shooter.
15 seconds on the shot clock. Carl Arts. And now it's Bernie's chance for a 3, and he knocks it down.
That's Bernie's second three-point basket of the game. In fact, all 5 of his field goal attempts and both of his baskets have been from beyond the arc.
Demetrius Howard up top, Tambo. Howard looking for the big man Siler, and another travel. And the substitution coming in is Bowman. Going out is Tambo.
Now he's got the ball and he shuffles his feet trying to get closer to the basket. What he needs to do is get set up closer to the basket so he doesn't have to make that move. At that size, and he's a dominant size in this game, he should get himself so close to the basket that all he's got to do is catch and turn and shoot it. When he's done that, he's scored very easily.
You see the hot shooting from outside for Alaska-Anchorage. And there's another one. Chris Bryant, 38-35. A 3-point game.
Boy, and now if you're Alaska-Anchorage, you're starting to feel very, very confident.
We saw Dixon go to the hoop early in this game.
I think this is the point of the game where you have to be looking for Bowman on the inside.
A reach and foul by Jeremiah Truman. So that'll be Truman's second.
See, Truman doesn't need to reach right here. Look there, see how he's got Siler a couple of steps from the basket. Siler really needs to be setting up in the lane. Now, of course, if he sets up in the lane, he's got to get the ball quickly.
There's Bowman elevating again. Howard for 3. And a weak side rebound by Cooper. And Alaska-Anchorage a chance to tie.
That's too quick. Too quick. Not a good shot right there.
Fortunate to get another chance.
Yeah, Bryant, he just got excited. He wasn't set.
Cooper, good fake. Got hung up in the air. Here comes Dixon. 1-on-2 going right to the hoop. Howard had too much time. Gets it down low to his big man Siler. Use the baby hook.
See, now, if you're going to allow him to take 2 dribbles, then he's going to score pretty easily.
Siler's got 8 in the game. Alaska-Anchorage has been able to cut it down to 3.
He was way beyond that second line again. I don't think that he's paying enough attention to the lines on the court.
Dixon to the hoop. 24-14. Now the second half score in favor of Alaska-Anchorage.
A couple of bad shots by Alaska-Anchorage, and turnovers have resulted in some easy baskets for Augusta State.
Boy, the senior from Valdez, Alaska. 14 points, just 4 off his season average.
They made 1 3 in the first half. They made 7 so far in the second half.
Bowman down low, Siler, double team, goes up with it. And that's what if he's going to be quick with it, he'll be fine. Otherwise, Alaska-Anchorage has to come down and double right away.
Well, they're actually doing a really nice job keeping him away from the basket. They're putting him in a position where he has to make a move. And if that move is going to be a dribble, you're right, Alaska-Anchorage has to get there to knock the ball away.
And now Siler will come out. He's got 10 points.
See, Siler's going to catch the ball. Now, he actually has 1 foot in the lane, but there's 1 dribble and a shot. And if he's going to take that 1 dribble, you've got to come and take the ball away from him.
Good heads by A.J. Bowman, slowing down Cooper.
These guys have made 9 field goals in the second half. 7 of them have been from beyond the three-pointer. They only made 5 field goals total in the first half.
White on the floor, 8 seconds on the shot clock. Olsen drives in. Offensive foul. And Carl Arts comes crashing in, adding insult to injury to McCade Olsen. That will be the second foul on Olsen.
Trying to get closer, and closer all the time isn't better. You can see as he catches the ball, he's got an opportunity to stop right there, but instead he continues to glide to the basket. If you stop right here and make a jump stop and take a jump shot, then you're not going to get that charge. But he glides to the basket, and that's almost guaranteed against a good defensive team.
16 fouls now against Alaska-Anchorage. Dixon up in the air, throws it out of bounds, and we have another timeout. Alaska-Anchorage keeps on getting close. Augusta State has the answer. They're on top, 44-38.
We represent the Coke brand. We would like to sue Coca-Cola Zero
for taste infringement.
I'm an immigration lawyer.
We feel that your expertise might be able to be a way to think outside the box.
I think, personally, not that speaking outside the box, and I hate that kind of language. I deal with families and things, and I appreciate what you're trying to do.
Now that I think of it, Ron, the head of the Coke Zero team's Canadian. Could we have him deported?
Da 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 da.
March isn't the only month for madness.
When it happens, I'm 100% there.
State Farm, proud partner of the NCAA basketball tournament.
Ball, please.
The Division II student-athlete experience emphasizes academic and athletic excellence. From Olympic-style sports festival championships to community-focused partnerships, Division II schools are moving forward with a new attitude. Learning, service, passion, sportsmanship, resourcefulness, and balance. These are the attributes of student-athletes, coaches, administrators, and alumni and fans who say with pride, I chose Division II.
It's a 6-point game in favor of Augusta State. Alaska-Anchorage trailed by 17 at the half. And the way they've gotten back into this has been three-point shooting here in the second half.
They have made 7 three-point field goals in the second half. They're 7 for 12 shooting, and we're going to get a look at them here. In fact, for the game, they have taken 18 two-point shots, 24 three-point shots. They've now made 8 of their 24 three-point baskets, and that's what's keeping them in the game. There you get a look at the numbers.
You don't see that often.
No, you don't, but that's the way you shoot yourself back into a basketball game.
Luke Cooper guarded by Caleb Brown, poked away, coming right at us. And it'll be Alaska-Anchorage basketball. Good effort by the freshman from Dumfries, Virginia.
Now we're back to that quicker lineup, defensive lineup in the game for Augusta State with the big guy on the bench.
Carlart's another three. He's got it.
You know, if the team is going to shoot this well from three-point range, at some point you have to say, look, I can't just decide they're not going to make them. You got to go out and you got to pressure, make them do something else. Put the ball on the deck, drive to the basket.
17 points for Arts, 11 here in the second half already.
Man-to-man defense.
There is Bowman on the low block, count it, and one.
And that's Augusta State continues to have that advantage on the inside, whether Siler is in the game or not, because with Siler out of the game, that gives Bowman an opportunity to operate inside. What a great job catching the ball and quickly collecting himself. How fast did he jump right there? He had to jump to catch the ball. He hit the floor and was right back up.
Foul was called on Kevin White, his second, team 7th. Bowman now 18 points and 5 rebounds. And he misses the free throw. We are here at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. The D2 National Semifinals in Augusta State and Alaska-Anchorage. Justin Kutcher and Dan Bonner with you. Alaska-Anchorage has crept all the way back, trailing now by just 5 after being down by 17 in the first half, scoring just 11 points in the first half.
And here's the zone defense.
And a deep three again by Chris Bryant. The 11 points in the first half tied an NCAA record for fewest points in the first half. That's a dangerous play by Imagine, saving it so close to the timeline. Siler again, barreling his way to the hoop.
You let him take that one dribble. It's almost like as that ball's in the air to him, your double team has to get there, so the double team arrives at the same time as the ball to prevent him from taking that dribble.
26 to 4 points in the paint, the advantage for Augusta State. Augusta State going to the 2-3 zone. Olsen the kick out. Open is White for three. And a good rebound by Bowman. Dixon off the backboard now. Imagine recovers a loose ball. They've got numbers if they want to go with it. There is the immediate double team. Bowman's through from the corner. And we're going to have the third foul called against Garret Siler. An over the back foul. That is just the team's third here in the second half with 5:25 to play.
Now, Siler runs pretty well in terms of getting up and down the court, but he's not particularly mobile going side to side, and he has a tough time rebounding the ball, moving his feet to get better rebounding position.
Siler on the season, he averages about 8 rebounds a game, but watching him yesterday, didn't look like he was moving all that well, like you said, for those rebounds. He does have 6 tonight.
Well, he's a big, strong kid. He does a great job getting position inside. He's got fantastic hands. So a lot of the rebounds that come close to him, he's going to get. But if he's got to go a little bit out of the area that he's occupying to get the rebound, that's where that mobility or lack thereof comes into play.
Another attempt by Bryant from 3. And Bryant has now gone very cold, just 2 for 8 from three-point land. This is a guy who shoots 45% from three-point land.
But he's taking very long threes. I think he's settling for those when with the little ball movement and player movement, he might be able to get closer.
Howard's 3, no good. And another rebound for Carl Arts.
You know, again, there's 2 lines down on the court, and the line they need to be concerned with is the inside line.
Staying in that 2-3 zone. Cooper, no look pass to Olsen. 14 points now for McCade Olsen, and that was a beautiful play by Luke Cooper. The 6th assist of the game for the All-American from Melbourne, Australia.
Well, they've got to get some stops on the defensive end because time now really is beginning to become a factor.
Siler with great position, good entry pass.
See, and that's one where he was down in the colored area of the lane, and if he's going to be in there and they're going to throw him the ball immediately, he's not going to get 3 seconds, and he can be very quick with it.
Siler's got 14 points on 7 for 9 shooting. Another attempt. This time it goes down for Bryant.
That time it was a much closer three-point shot. He was behind the first line, not the second.
He's got the John Starks mentality of three-point shooting.
Well, that's what good shooters have. If you're making it, keep shooting it because you're hot, and if you're missing, keep shooting because you're going to get hot.
Oh, nice move by Siler.
They can't guard him.
Takes the bump, puts it in, and he'll go to the free throw line and try to convert a three-point play. Garret Siler's got 12 points here in the second half. His team is on top by 6.
Remember how you felt about cars as a kid? We do. Introducing the first ever Pontiac G8 GT, the most powerful car under 30 grand.
You know what? You've earned this. Never fled from Spalding. True to the game.
I was pretty nervous, apprehensive.
It was tough to tell him I was joining the Army at first. I did research on my own, tried to get an idea about what the Army was going to be like. It's given me a whole bunch of confidence.
But no, I'm very proud of him.
He's just a stronger, more driven individual.
He can outrun me.
If your son or daughter wants to talk about joining the Army, listen, you made them strong. We'll make them Army strong. Find out more at goarmy.com.
Garret Siler has given his team a 6-point lead here in the second half with 3:27 to play. And it was a nice move with the ball down low.
Well, look at this. There's very little pressure on the ball, so they can look inside and they can find Siler. Now watch as he catches the ball, as he dribbles. Nobody's close enough to prevent the dribble. Once a big guy dribbles it and gets it back in his hands, it's very rare that a referee is going to let you take it out of his hands without calling a foul. You've got to get to him before he turns or while he's dribbling to knock the ball away.
Siler with 16 points, 12 of those here in the second half. A 57% free throw shooter. Makes it. And last night, Siler at the free throw line was 9 for 12. A guy who's a 57% free throw shooter, and that helped Augusta State advance here to the semifinals.
And there's a steal. Bernie just not paying attention, and Demetrius Howard stripped him of the ball. And now Alaska-Anchorage really needs a stop.
Siler asking for a lob with no help behind him.
Well, that's why you've got to get pressure on the ball so the Augusta State guys can't see in there easily.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Imagine still without a field goal in the game. Demetrius Howard, pump fake, loses it, turnover. And here comes Alaska-Anchorage down 53-46 with 2:40 to play here in the second half.
And here's Augusta State back to the 2-3 zone. Trying to get him to run time off the clock.
Oh, the glass.
He uses the backboard so well, and that shot was over the outstretched hands of the 6'11" Garret Siler.
19 points now for Carl Arts. Back to a 5-point game. Howard's corner three. And a rebound from McCade Olson.
I think going down the stretch, if you're Augusta State, you want to make sure that Siler handles the ball. Throw it into him. Put the pressure on the defense.
4 players around Arts. Arts gets open, the elbow jumper off the back rim, and a big rebound by Siler. Augusta State slowing it down. And Dan, we talked about this yesterday. It's a close game. It's a 5-point game. You're under 2 minutes to play. I'm not one who's in favor of slowing it down. Play your game.
I think they feel confident with Bowman and Siler that they can get one at the end of the shot clock.
There is Siler, double teamed off the glass, too strong.
Again, that was a great opportunity. He just missed it.
Chris Bryant wanted to shoot the three. And a timeout taken by Rusty Osborne and Alaska-Anchorage. 53-48. Alaska-Anchorage has just 1 timeout remaining. And for live stats and recaps for all rounds of every NCAA championship, log on to NCAA.com. NCAA.com is the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. And look who is here watching, the Winona State fans. They are ready to invade this arena.
There are a lot of them. We showed you a little earlier that it's a 77-hour drive from Anchorage to Springfield. It is a 22-hour drive from Winona, Minnesota to Springfield, but many people have made that drive. You see Arts there. Arts is shooting 62% on the game today, 8 for 13. The other guys are only 10 for 37. So you think maybe you'd want to throw Arts the ball here in this situation.
Arts has the ball. .13 on the shot clock, the kick out, and here they go to the 2-3 zone.
And they don't have a lot of time.
8 seconds on the clock, under a minute. Poke away, turnover. And it's going to be Augusta State basketball. So with under a minute to play, up by 5, got to start fouling.
And Steve Smith is the guy you want to foul.
Instead, they fouled Daniel Dixon. And Dixon on the season is a 61% free throw shooter.
Well, see, that's a little chink in the armor of Augusta State. Steve Smith on the season is a 47% free throw shooter. So that your 2 guards in the game are your 2 poorest free throw shooters on the floor at the moment.
Dixon 2 for 2 at the free throw line today. Misses the front end of a 1-and-1. The next foul will be a double bonus.
Well, you've got to score quickly here. You don't have enough time to be fooling around.
And Cooper is taking his time. Arts another 3. Oh, and out.
You got to foul right away.
And the foul on Magin.
Well, that was a pretty good shot. You know, it was contested. It wasn't a wide open shot, but that's the kind of a shot that Arts has been making the entire second half. And watches this ball, it bounces around. How many times did it hit the rim before it came out?
Magin does not get the roll. He's now 2 for 3 at the free throw line. Magin on the season, 86% at the charity stripe.
Well, that leaves the door open. Not very wide, but it does leave it open.
I believe we saw something similar to this last year. Timeout taken by Dimitris and Augusta State. Remember, what's at stake here is the first trip ever to the national championship game for the Augusta State Jaguars. Came into this game with a record of 26-6. They were 17-3 in conference play. Augusta State has 3 timeouts left. Alaska-Anchorage just 1. Augusta State will be shooting 2 free throws for the final 35 seconds. And Augusta State, they only have 13 fouls. They have plenty of fouls to give if they want.
Well, Augusta State, a representative of the Peach Belt Conference, and the last time a Peach Belt Conference got to the championship game, won the championship, it wasn't that long ago. It was Kennesaw State back in 2004.
And remember, for Alaska-Anchorage, this is their first trip to the Elite 8 and Final Four since 1988, when they lost in the championship game to UMass Lowell.
I see they're trying to give that foul right now.
Dixon commits the foul.
And that's why Dimitris called the timeout, to make sure that they knew they had a couple of fouls to give. That's only the 15th foul, so they've got another one they can give. You let them run a little time off the clock, and you're going for the steal. Maybe you get a steal. Maybe they won't call the foul. But you put pressure on the ball. You know, they got to go.
Olsen for 2. And the rebound putback is good by Bernie. Timeout, final timeout taken by Rusty Osborne and Anchorage. A 4-point game with 15 seconds left. Well, one player you don't want on the floor right now, I would imagine, for Augusta State, is Steve Smith. Or you have him inbound the basketball.
And then run away from him.
Yeah. And then start running suicides.
Well, that was very good defense by Augusta State. They gave the foul, and they disrupted the play, and then they only gave up a 2-point basket with 15 seconds left in the game. Unless Augusta State turns it over a couple times rapidly, Alaska-Anchorage cannot win the game with 2s. You can see there, Alaska-Anchorage, no timeouts left, but the key stat there was Augusta State, only 5 team fouls.
Well, Smith is in the game. He's standing by midcourt.
Now, what you do if you're Alaska-Anchorage is you play defense and you allow Steve Smith to catch the ball. In the quarterfinal game, with his team up by 2 points with 4.5 seconds left, he was fouled. He missed 2 free throws.
They will not guard the inbounder.
You can't let that guy catch the ball.
And the foul is given by Cameron Burney.
Smith never even moved toward the ball.
He knows he doesn't want it.
Well, he may want it. That might be a problem. If you've got a 47% free throw shooter who wants it, that's even worse.
Imagine 3 for 4 at the free throw line. He's 1 for 2 his last time there. Makes the first, and it's a 5-point. Two for 2, and a timeout again taken by Mitras and Augusta State. Up by 6 with 12.8 seconds left. You still have that foul to give.
You still have that foul to give, and what you're doing out there is you are only defending the 3. It doesn't matter if they take the ball down the court, and I don't care how fast it is. It doesn't matter if they take the ball down the court and score a 2. They don't have enough time to beat you with 2s. And again, Alaska-Anchorage has no timeouts left, so you would be well advised if the Seawolves do score a basket, you take the ball out and get it inbounds very quickly before they get a chance to set their defense.
Look at the game summary. Augusta State up by 6. 3-point field goals has gone the way of Alaska-Anchorage. 10 seconds to go. Cooper driving it up. No foul called. A deep 3 off the mark, and a rebound by Bowman. And Augusta State will go to the national championship game on Saturday. The Jaguars of Augusta State advance their first ever NCAA Division II national championship game, and they will take on the winner of our second semifinal, Bentley versus Winona State.
And it was a game where Alaska-Anchorage just fell behind early. It was some very strong defense in the first half by Augusta State. Alaska-Anchorage missed some open opportunities. It's very difficult at this level when you fall behind by 17 at the half to come back in the game. And even though it was a valiant effort by the Seawolves of Alaska-Anchorage, Augusta State had enough left that they were able to hang on to their lead and win the game.
56-50.